that conch. That conch is great, isn't it? Sounds like a mad cow. I love it. But before I get into the topic of today's video, Shugendo, I would like to discuss something else. A few weeks ago, I talked about the trail cam, and because there's a lot of nightlife here, animal nightlife, and I've always wanted to record them, and I tried myself using my phone or the GoPro, but the quality just wasn't good. So what I did was I've invested in this one and another one, a trail cam, and had it up for 2 or 3 weeks, and I just recently checked the footage, and I was really excited to see that it had recorded some deer. It was cute to see how they go on their hind legs and eat the leaves from the top of the trees. I mean, it was deep winter, so there was very little for them to eat. But as excited as I was to see some of the animals, the quality was not really what I was hoping for. There was a lot of it was almost like a ghost, the ghost of deers visiting me. Maybe they were ghosts, but when they moved, you could just see like stripes going across the screen. So I will share now the best footage that I got. The rest was probably worse. So maybe it has something to do with the fact that it was cold at the time, below zero, and that affects the quality of the recordings. Hopefully I will try again in spring and summer. Maybe the quality gets better, or maybe it's just the quality of the camera itself, or maybe a setting. But honestly, there are not too many setting options. But I will share the footage of the deer here. Also, the other day I went up to the waterfall, and I saw this squirrel, a little Japanese squirrel, and got some footage of that, and I'll just share it over here. And now on to today's topic, which is Shugendo. And Shugendo is an indigenous Japanese folk religion, and many people are familiar with Buddhism or even Shinto. These are kind of the two main religions in Japan, but there's also something called Shugendo. And the way I came across it was a few years ago when I just moved to Kyoto. I did a lot of hiking and exploring, and especially in Higashiyama area, on the eastern side of the city, and there's a temple called Nanzenji, and behind Nanzenji there's a little path going up, and when you get to the end of the path there are a lot of statues. Again, my favorite concept, my favorite word connected to Japan, those mystical statues, which I didn't know anything about at the time, but there were protruding rocks and some little caves, and really, really small caves, more like alcoves. And in the middle of it, there was water coming down, what's called a waterfall, taki in Japanese, but I wouldn't consider that a real waterfall. It was a pipe. It's a pipe coming out of the rocks, maybe an inch wide, with water coming down, but very, very thin stream. But you could clearly see it was made for bathing or something. There was a bucket, but you're not allowed to go in, so I didn't. And but I did have a look from a little bit higher up, and I could see that some kind of ritual would go on there. So I kept coming back just for hiking and visiting. And then at some point there was a older man, a Japanese man in normal clothing, nothing special, but he had this conch, this big shell called a horagai, and it's this big, about I don't know, almost 15-inch, 30, 40 centimeters big, and it's a Japanese native shell, and they turned it into kind of like a trumpet. So this man was blowing the horn, blowing the conch, and making this very deep, primal sound that you could hear all across the mountain, all across the valley. You can hear this, and if you stand close to it, it's not a very hard sound. It doesn't hurt your eyes. It doesn't hurt my ears. You can feel it in your chest, like a deep, resonating sound. And yeah, as I said, very primal. So I started sumimasen, and then I talked to him, and in my best Japanese. And first he was a little bit, like, who is this guy? Who is this random foreigner here who wants to talk to me? But I gained some of his trust, and I gave him my card, and we got in touch. And he invited me to a Shugendo practice. So I visited him and his buddies in the temple one day, and there was a lot of prayer going on. And later on, we visited that waterfall. I will just call it waterfall, but imagine it's almost like a water tap in nature, a faucet in nature. And we visited the waterfall together, and we did the prayers and standing under the waterfall, which was a great experience. And now I myself have always been fascinated by waterfalls, rivers, creeks. I love that. I mean, the sea is great, but there's lots of sand. Sand gets stuck everywhere. When I come to a mountain river, it's just really, really fresh. The water is cold. There's continuous stream, and it's really revitalizing and refreshing, especially a waterfall when it goes on your head, and it just, I don't know. It has big healing powers. And by myself, while hiking, every time I would see a waterfall, no matter the time of year, I would try to go in, unless it was clear that it was not allowed. But if it's just me, myself, in nature, I would. And now in Shiga, I found this place where I go weekly to do my own version of Shugendo. This is where religions branch off. One person does this, the other person does something else. But I like the physical part of it, the ascetic training, the long hiking, and finding these waterfalls. So for the past few years, I've been coming back to the same waterfall and just practiced, going in, getting to know the rocks. At first I would wear, surfing shoes that it's easier to walk on the rocks, but now I let go of that. I'm barefoot, and you know where it's deep, you know where you can climb down, you know where you can climb up, and it's easy in the summer. I mean, it gets really, really hot out here. Like today is what, almost 20 degrees on February 24th. It's amazing. I mean, this is a good enough summer for me. But so going into the waterfall in the summer is easy. Fall is okay, but then when in the middle of winter, December, January, February, the water gets really cold. So it requires a lot of good breathing, to stay in for a few minutes. So I'm on this learning path about Shugendo, and I'm learning the Japanese, the rituals, but I'm also bringing in my own ideas just for myself. How I approach these things. One thing I would like to share is that after getting to know about Shugendo, I went online to find some information. There isn't a whole lot out there in English. The first thing that I found was this. It's a paper written by Andrea Gill, or Andrea Gill. So Andrea, if you're watching, please let me know. Please reach out to me. I try to reach out to you through social media, but I didn't get a response. So the booklet is called Shugendo, Pilgrimage and Ritual in a Japanese Folk Religion. And I'm just going to read one paragraph because the information is very concise. And for me, this is a good starting point to learn more. So the conch I showed before, I talked about. The conch is called Horagai, and the monk is Yamabushi, or one who lies in the mountains, otherwise known as Shugenja, those with power. They are practitioners of the religious movement known as Shugendo. The Chinese characters spell out as one who practices austerities in association with mountains. It is a blend of ancient shamanistic Shinto, esoteric Buddhism, Confucianism, and also Taoist principles. Its origins are just as varied as the backgrounds of its practitioners. Wow. Ancient shamanistic Shinto, esoteric Buddhism, Confucianism, and also Taoist principles. It's basically all the stuff I like. Yeah, so that's good. And I've been going with my friend from England. He's from London, and he doesn't say waterfall, he says waterfall. So, Frank, are we going to a waterfall? I said, sure, man, let's go to the waterfall. So today's video is a bit of a mixture of different footage I shot in the past 2 or 3 weeks. So probably the footage of the waterfall in the video today is about from 2 weeks ago when it was still cold. But yeah, I'm excited to go again tomorrow to the waterfall.